Okay, so maybe we started off this video a touch dramatic, but you know what? I personally feel like vegetables deserve a little drama. You know, they deserve the spotlight. So I actually was a vegan for about 9, 10-ish years. Honestly, we lose track these days. And I did make the switch about 2 years ago to being a full-time carnivore. As you can see from my last What I Eat in a Week video, not a single day goes by that I do not consume some kind of animal product. It was like a mixture of personal and health reasons. If you are interested, drop me a little comment below. Maybe I'll dive deep into the whole entire story of why I stopped being vegan. All in that to say, during my decade of veganism, I developed a strong affinity towards vegetables. Being so limited in what you could eat, I had to get real creative with making vegetables not kind of suck. You know what I mean? I will be the first one to say I am not a big fan of big leafy salads. Unless it is peak summer and like 40 degrees outside, I will not be chowing down on some manky little Greek salad. You know what I mean? I've kind of developed these ways to be able to make vegetables tasty. My husband, as someone who did not grow up with a strong appreciation of vegetables, unlike moi and my Chinese heritage. Us Chinese, we love our veggies, at least in my family. Big strong believers that vegetables make you healthy and live longer and prosper because we as the Chinese want to take over the world. My husband, being Colombian, did not grow up, I believe, with the same attitude towards vegetables. Usually when I make a vegetable dish, he will be the first to be like not super excited, you know what I mean? But I can confirm that every single one of these dishes is husband approved. He actually said it. I wish I got it on film. He said, "This was delicious. Can I have another one?" That to me is like the biggest compliment. I'm just going to wrap up this intro. We're just gonna get straight into it. Welcome to another week of my budget-friendly meal prep series. If you do not have access to everything but the bagel seasoning, no worries. Oh, actually, you don't need paprika. I was just restocking on that, so just ignore that. Have no fear, because you can make it yourself. So this is basically the one that I get from Costco. As you can see, I have used her up. This lasted me for over a month, so definitely worth the investment. I think this bottle is like $15 or something like that, and you get 550 grams, which is solid. Like I said, this lasted me over a month, and y'all saw how much I use it. So anyways, I'm kind of just gonna be pouring everything into there and just shaking it up. Everything but the bagel seasoning is literally just a mixture of sesame seeds, poppy seeds, dried onions, dried garlic. They do use black sesame seeds, but I don't have access to that, and that's not like really easy to get. You know what I mean? And then it's also optional to put sea salt in there, which I'll be putting just a tiny little bit of, but I'm not going to be putting in that much just because I like to salt my food. So I'm going to put probably a majority of the sesame seeds. I think my favorite part is the sesame seeds. Probably not going to use all the poppy seeds either because that'll just be a little bit too much. So that's kind of the portions at the moment. You can basically do like a 1:1:1 ratio, but if you look at the back, the main ingredient is the garlic flakes and then the sesame seeds, and then poppy seeds are kind of last with the sea salt flakes. This is 40 grams right here. I'm just going to put that entire thing in there. We've got the dried onions. Save your tears. That's actually quite funny. Hoyts, you got a little sense of humor. I'm not going to put too much salt because I like to salt my food, so just like a tiny bit. Alrighty. Shake that up. Like, look at that. So that is basically probably like a third of the entire bottle. So I will say that this box is good value for money. Now you have your own everything but the bagel seasoning. La. you've been watching my other meal prep videos, you'll notice that I tend to use these 3 meats quite a lot. I don't really tend to stray too far from your usual chicken breast, basa fillets, and like pork loin or pork shoulder, just simply because we usually go to Costco to buy all of our meat because it's a lot cheaper, and I tend to buy in bulk. So whenever I end up making these meal prep videos, I will always have these 3 meats on hand. They are a lower calorie protein as well. So you get lots of good protein from these 3 different cuts of meat. The pork is usually like a pork shoulder fillet or like a pork loin, whatever is kind of the most budget-friendly option at Costco. My husband is a huge fan of pork, and I actually like cooking with pork more than beef, just simply because beef tends to be quite high in saturated fats. So you could definitely switch out the flavorings and everything like that with your favorite cut of meat, whatever is most available to you. You do you, boo, all right? This is just kind of what's readily available for us here in Australia. So next up, we're gonna make pumpkin soup, which I know doesn't really sound that exciting, but you gotta trust me on this. And for all my American friends who maybe are unaware that pumpkin can be used in a savory setting, again, you're gonna have to trust me on this. This was something that I did not realize was a thing until I moved to Australia, surprisingly. Pumpkin soup has quickly become one of my favorite soups, and it's so easy to pack in heaps of veggies. So basically, you're gonna want to dice up the pumpkin to like big chunks. They don't need to be super small because pumpkin actually does cook up quite quickly. So another helpful way to cut it is, see how it like curves in, just like that right there. I'm just gonna cut it right at the like convex of the curve. I don't know, math was so long ago. And then that kind of just makes it easier just to cut in like one straight line instead of needing to like curve your knife. So see how much like faster and quicker that was. So now we're gonna add it to a big pot or pan. I would highly recommend doing this in a pot, but I just really like doing it in a heavy bottom pan like this because we're actually going to kind of sear the pumpkin a bit so it gets a nice roasty kind of flavors. So next we're actually gonna use some carrots. So I've just got like 4 carrots here. Again, you just wanna cut them into chunks a little bit smaller than the pumpkin because carrots do take longer to cook. Add that to the pan as well. You're gonna kind of like cook that on medium heat until the aroma of the paprika starts, you know, wafting through the air and the pumpkin's a little bit charred on one side. And then you're gonna add enough water to basically make the soup. Again, which is why I would say using a big casserole dish or a pot would actually be good. This is a really deep pan. Also, I just had a bunch of zucchini bits left over from another veggie dish, so I just added that. And then if you have an immersion blender, feel free to use that, but I'm just gonna pop these all into a blender, and then I'm gonna add in this super high protein cottage cheese. So if you look at this, this is 13.5 grams per serving, and there are 2.25 servings per tub, and I'm gonna add that whole dang tub in there. And then we're gonna add in some white beans. That's gonna give you an additional 16 grams of protein. Now we're gonna salt it up. And of course, guys, this is optional, but not really. Add some crispy chili oil. It just adds so much depth of flavor. And then we're gonna add in a whole can of light coconut milk to kind of give it like a nice little creamy flavor. Okay, so now for storage. You're gonna use really, really solid sandwich bags. And you have to trust me on this. These are actually like a large sandwich bag. And so you're basically gonna pop that into a serving size bowl. Like how much would one serving be? And then you're going to pour in the pumpkin soup to fill the bowl into the Ziploc bag and then make sure it's super tightly sealed. Get rid of as much air as possible. We're gonna freeze them because I don't like freezing my containers because they break really easily when I do that. And so I'm just gonna use these plastic bags. You don't have to worry about your soup leaking in any containers when you're bringing it to work or school or whatever, because I always find whenever I pack soup, it always leaks. Always, always, always. But if it's frozen, it can't leak because it's solid. You feel? And the great thing about this is that like when you actually put it in the freezer, they can actually lie flat, as you can see.
It may not feel like you're gonna make it through. I promise you'll be okay. Whenever things get you down, feel some blue. Tomorrow is a new day. Step with intention and only speak your truth. Nobody should say different. If someone's in your way, then you must push through. Only you who can do this. Climb up the mountain, reach for the top. Talk yourself up, no one has what you've got. When it's forgotten, you can say, yes I can, I'm gonna do it. Nothing's stopping me, there's nothing to it. I can, I will, I am, I believe. Yes I can. It may not feel like you're gonna make it through. I promise you'll be okay. Whenever things get you done, feel some blue. a new day. Step with intention and only speak your truth. Nobody should say different. If someone's in your way, then you must push through. Only you who can do this. Climb up the mountain, reach for the top. Talk yourself up, no one has what you've got. For when it's forgotten, you can say, yes I can, I'm gonna do it. Nothing's stopping me, there's nothing to it. I can, I will, I am, I believe.
Okay, so this next dish isn't really so much of a dish, but more of like a garnish. It may seem very random, but I love the taste of roasted carrots. But I do not necessarily have the time or the patience to actually roast carrots because I feel like in order to get a really nice roasted flavor, you need to roast them for quite a long time. I'm gonna basically fake that roasted flavor. I am going to just be peeling up some carrots like so. You want really, really wide strips. And then option one, you can add them to an oiled pan and add some of that everything but the bagel seasoning and broil them for a few minutes. Or I like to add them to an oiled pan. This literally only takes seconds, mere seconds, until they get crispy around the edges. And you want to make sure that they don't burn. That is basically it. It has all the flavors of a roasted carrot, but it literally just takes seconds.
It took some time, but now I found myself. I put those feelings back up on the shelf so I can see and I can be a brand new me. I'm feeling funky so I can be a brand new me. Feeling good is where I'm coming from.